My name is Vladislava Grbovic. I come from Serbia, Biases Institute. We are delighted to gather together for today's webinar. We will be focusing on soil health as part of nation's framework in 2024. And this also, there is a webinar series dedicated to supporting living labs in both rural and urban environments. I will just briefly tell you about our projects. The nation and its objective is to facilitate the EU mission across all Europe member states and associated countries, and also nations acts as a messenger of a soil mission, of a mission raising awareness among national and regional stakeholders, providing access to the quality checked and also the capacity building materials and information and etc. Of the best living lab setups to address the regional soil needs. Throughout our session, we explored diverse topics, so reflecting nation's role as a vital support system to this. And also today, our primary aim is to provide valuable insights on improving soil health. We will soon hear from our speakers who will share their expertise and also experiences. And this webinar will provide information about the most important soil health challenges of the Balkans and also the neighboring countries. In this webinar, we will also focus on the joint challenges. Therefore, the participants will have opportunity to identify those soil mission objectives, which can be starting point for joint projects. Also, the presentation will come from every participating country, ensuring the regional balance as well. One lecture will focus on the existing cooperation of Serbian and Hungarian farmers applying to the environmental and soil-friendly practices. This webinar targets potential and also the future applicants, as well as local, regional, and national stakeholders interested in setting up a soil health living lab. Also, I wanted to say for all the people that are interested in building consortia or exploring the open calls that we have, remember to also visit the nation's website and the platform on the website. Also, please ensure to see there about the open calls open for the 2024. As you can see here, there are two calls in the 2024, the Mission Soil call that will include two topics to fund the Living Lab projects. And in this webinar, nations provide some general information. Those of you who will continue to build the project proposals note that the official source and reference shall remain from 2023 to 25, and Mission Soil Work Program officially published by the European Commission this year on the 17th of April. Nations also specifically support these two topics, and it's co-creating solutions for soil health living labs. That's topic one on soil health, and another one is living lab in urban areas for healthy soils, and that's topic two on urban soils. I would also like to remind you that the deadline for the applications and this work program from topics, it's October 8, 2024, 17 o'clock Brussels time. And this submission is single stage. It means that full proposal is to be submitted at the submission. But the full proposals should be submitted at once. Submission take place electronically, as maybe you know, but via funder and tenders portal. Both topics, as you can see here, are research and innovation actions, meaning their actor is covered by 100% funding. And each application should include 4 to 5 or more living labs that address some of the several land use types in the member states also and in the associated countries. So the living labs as individual sites, which each living lab can be, for example, urban, green, industrial, farms, forest, stands, or other locations where work is carried and monitored under real life conditions. Also, what I wanted to say here is to introduce, maybe I should have done it in the beginning, my colleagues from the Nations Consortia. Teresa is here from Hungary and also Loredana from Romania. And before we dive into the presentations, I'd like to extend the gratitude to our colleagues and also to participants, and also Gabriele, who is behind the scenes. Throughout this webinar, you can put your questions in a chat box, or you can just type in. After we finish our presentations, we will have open discussion where you can ask everything that you have, and any questions that you have will be answered. Also, the thing that we wanted to share with you, this webinar will be also translated in some other languages to be more convenient for this neighboring countries to better understand what is our mission and what we want to do. And I also once again want to encourage you to go to the Nations website and to check. This is the one of 3 webinars that we had already, so you can check the other 2 also to have a bigger picture of everything that we do in this project. Also, I would like to introduce Mirabella Marin. She is coming from National Institute of Research and Development in Forestry from Romania. She will be our today's speaker. Tamara Popovic, she is my colleague from Biosense. She is a PhD student doing some really great stuff here in Serbia. And also I would like to introduce to you our third speaker, Barbara Biro. She is in Hungarian University of Agriculture and Life Science. She was also a member of the mission board for soil health and food from 2021. I think I will now give the floor to our first speaker to share her presentation, and I will join my colleagues in the chat to see if we can provide as much as information as we can in these couple of hours in this webinar. Thank you, everyone.
I tried to share the screen. Can you see it?
Not yet.
Not yet? Oh. I shared it already. Stop share.
I see, but it's still not in the presentation mode.
But I did it in the presentation mode, so I don't know what to do now. Can I try again? Or?
Of course.
Probably this one. Share. Is it okay?
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you. Thank you inviting me for this lecture. I would like to introduce myself. Yes, I was a partner at the first step of this mission of soil health and food in 1991, and we did a step forward, but to think about soil and how to make more knowledge about soil quality. Yeah, that's it. Does not work. Yeah. So we live in a changing environment now, and we are facing for major environmental challenges such as global warming, soil fertility, and biodiversity loss, pressures on natural resources. So now we realize that soil is a, as we say in Hungary, a renewable energy source, but sometimes we forget about it, how it can be renewed. And now we know that after 30 years of pesticides industry, and now regenerative agriculture, which try to reinforce the power of the soil, the biological power of the soil. And this has several questions, and I would like to go forward to mention that when we see these 5 different problems in our environment and our situation, you can see that the 5th one is soil health and food, but all the other 4s can be related to the soil. Cancer, which is as illnesses, can be related also for the soil through the food system, the oceans and the seas. The soil is the best energy, best solution for the water. Climate change is also depends on the soil because of the carbon release from the soil is contribute to that. And our healthy environment, like town, like our homes, are also in relation with the soil. Therefore, I appreciated really that soil was involved in this 5 mission. And we also know that our soils are not in the best situation. You can see here that while we read this message, it is also, we can, I don't know how they calculate it, but it is said that several square meter of soil is destroyed during the industrial or human activity, and it is suggest, some of the figures suggest that we should use organic agricultural practice. And in the EU, we really decided that this organic agricultural practice in the EU in general, in average, should be increased for 25%. In Hungary is less than 10%, so we need to consider these suggestions, and every country has his own capacity for that. Several other data exist how our soil is destroyed, mainly the agricultural soils, which is about 75%. And really in Hungary, during 40 years of agricultural, intensive agricultural production of using pesticides, other chemicals, which are belong to the xenobiotics, which means that against the leaf, against the life, with different life of forms in the environment. So it is reducing the soil biology, the soil biological power, and therefore in Hungary it was reduced during these 40 years, is not more now than half of the previous one. For instance, Chernozem soils, which are the best one in Hungary, previously had 5-6% of humus, soil organic carbon, and now it has only 3% of humus content. So half of the organic matter content lost during these intensive agricultural practices. Therefore, we developed such suggestions how we can combat against desertification and how this land degradation could be stopped. This figure is very detailed, but I would like to focus that forestry, forest sites and the cities are in the main focus. Why only the forest site and the cities? We realized during this mission that the previous projects, among the previous projects, there were mainly focus for the agricultural ecosystems. For instance, less than 1% of urban sites was considered as a subject in any project. And the other value of the forest, why the forest? The forest has his natural own capacity to show the soil quality, and there are several sites on a long-term experiments. I will show another figure about it, how the forest sites can help us to learn more about soil. The forest has extra amount of carbon, extra amount of organic matter, and to discuss how it is important, they are the forest ecosystem to show the importance of soil organic matter. And there are several main aspects of what to study. For instance, in the main option against the soils is to study the soil organic matter. You should know that in Europe there are four different methodology how we can check the soil organic matter content, and therefore we cannot compare each other's results, because for instance in Hungary we are using the so-called urine methods, but in other countries they are using the Volky Black method. And the European community where I had a previous project, we realized the third methodology, which was the loss on ignition. This was also a standardized method for soil organic matter. So it is very difficult to compare the different results in the EU about the soil organic matter. So even though it is important in every soil function. And the other is the water, as we realized in forest studies that the water is the same importance as the organic matter. Without water, if the water is too much saturated soils or very low amount of water, they are enhancing or reducing this organic, this activity, this soil biological activity, biodiversity. There is another network, the NetShop network, where now it is under progress how to check the biodiversity in the soil, because we were focused mainly above the soil about biodiversity, but now real clear data how the soil biodiversity looks like regarding the soil food web. The soil food web is not only the microbial components where they live more than people live in the world in one tablespoon of soil, but still we have a full soil food web, including other fauna elements and vertebrates in the soil, which can be considered as a soil functioning. And in relation with the developing countries' suggestions, so we had some parameters what to check. And we realized in Caring for Soil, Caring for Life, it was the first report of this mission, which can be seen what was realized. So we wanted to restore the degraded ecosystems through the soil plant management, like phytoremediation practices. We want to conserve or improve the organic matter content. We want to stop the sealing or reinforced the sealed soils against into the food system, reduce the pollution in EU ecosystem, especially the agricultural soils where they are also polluted by pesticides. We wanted to reduce the risk of eutrophication. What is missing in the soil, for instance, the phosphorus content, it can be very difficult and harmful in the water ecosystems, so it is also suggested. And prevent the erosion. Erosion is developed by man-made human activity, but we have also the natural sources like wind and water erosion, which is very critical, especially in agricultural soils where the organic matter content reduced and lost. And pollution is another situation. We had 4 different steps how to go forward. The first step is the health restoration with different parameters. We decided which parameters are needed to check the soil health. I would like also to mention that the soil science has different ages. The first age was to check the soil agrophysical condition like plasticity of the soils or porosity of the soils, what to consist of physically. It was the 18th century. In 19th, it was the chemical age, chemical 100 age of the soils, where the fertilizers and other agrochemicals were main additives into the soils. And now I think it is the age of the soil biology, where we realized that soil has a biological function. Soil can be considered as a superorganism with different organisms, bacteria, fungi, and other fauna elements involved. And this knowledge should be improved and increased, and not only among scientists, but also in citizens and other potential partners. And the innovation is always a point, how we can find new elements and what to learn. For instance, in my subject, which is soil microbiology, we know now this new methodology, which is after the conventional measure assessment of soil biology. Now we are using the genetical up-to-date methodology where we can check several partners, and we should learn how they work. We found new genus in the soils, for instance, Verrumicroba, but I have never heard during a 30 years of experience. But now the Verrumicroba can be found in all the soils, and we learned that this is in relation with the nitrogen content of the soils, and nitrogen is the most important element in the soil plant ecosystem. So we can use the new technology, and therefore this new technology helps us to learn the functioning and the ecosystem functioning of the soils. And this regulation, so these rules, what we found this new, you can see is the potential stakeholders, and it can be involved in regulation. And we discussed in several times this common agricultural practices, so we can reimburse these farmers whom are considered the soil quality, soil fertility, or soil health. What is the difference? Now we are speaking about soil health parameters. Before we wanted to see the quality, after we focus for the fertility. The soil health is not the same as quality and fertility, but it is involved. But soil health for me is in relation with the soil and human health parameters and the food. So in our science, the soil quality or fertility should be improved with organic materials, but when we are using organic additives, we can consider our food and the safety of our food. There will be another figure about it. So the List Living Lab, which is suggested in improving in Europe, and considering the innovative elements, the monitoring, we realize the parameters what should be monitored, but the methodology should be harmonized among different countries. And it says also that we should use independent advisory services. And if I check the advisory services, for instance, in Hungary, there is a fertility advisory system. And what is considered mainly the physical, chemical parameters. And up till now, in these independent advisory services, no any biological is involved, although we know that soil biology is one of the main parameters in feeding the plant, and they can add several macro, meso, and micro elements for the plant, and it should be considered. So this is for me is a main objective, how the soil biological partners, the organism, can contribute to the soil fertility and soil health and plant health. Encouraging the policies, and soil health is all of these in one. And this was the 6 different parameters suggested. For instance, plant cover can be checked by these NDVI indexes, and soil plant cover can be in relation with the soil power. And however, up till now, the soil parameters are not really not really correlated with these NDVI indexes. So we should know, as soil scientists or soil biological knowledge, need to be involved in this plant cover assessment. The structure, which is start in every soil starts with the structure and porosity, and it needs a time period, sometimes several hundred years, to develop the biology of the soil. So the age of the soil, the succession of the soil is also should be a parameter, and the plasticity is also involved here. Plasticity is very important nowadays due to the heavy tools which are used in the agricultural practices. Organic matter, about the humus quality, I mentioned there are different parameters, but this is the most important, the harmonization in Europe. And before, there was a project for that. It was the horizontal HIG project, in which I was also involved, where 16 European laboratory was checking the same soil sample for organic matter content with the same methodology. And now we should validate our results with each other. Biodiversity, not real data about the soil food web, the flora and fauna, and now in CAP, in common agricultural practices, when the farmers has some fund to refund their costs, it is they are not really involved with the biodiversity knowledge, but still they are supported to use biofertilizers into the soils. they are coming from different countries, they are coming from different soils. So in this case, the biodiversity knowledge should be involved to use the main native elements to the same soils and not the elements which are coming from other ecosystems. So we have to do several things also in case of biodiversity knowledge. Nutrient availability, as I mentioned, that macro, meso, and micro elements can be also involved as a soil biological parameters, and we can struggle against malnutrition and the functional starvation, which both of them has an objective in this project. Soil pH and electronic exchange capacity. It is important in salinic soil situation. The salinity can reduce the soil plant activity. For instance, mycorrhiza fungi are very sensitive against the salinity. Next figure are also showing the same. So we can check the climate changes, we can check biodiversity changes in soil, because there are several organisms involved, and we can know only up till now not more than 1% of the living entities in the soil. So we should learn how it works and which are these partners involved. I was speaking about the water, the nutrition, and the landscape. Landscape was the seventh parameter during my expertise, because it is in relation with the farmers who can buy their soils and consider their own landscape and situation, which sometimes also important aspects. For instance, in a landscape in a hilly areas where the reduction of soil layer, fertile layer, is a very important aspect to check the soil loss during this management. We had a previous project where sewage sludge was applied into the soil. It was a long-term experiment and modeling the 16 years of sewage sludge application into the soil. The sewage sludge can be an important fertilizer amendment due to the fact that also in Hungary the farmyard manure was reduced. Animal production is very low amount. Therefore, sewage sludge was added to different, for instance, 60 ton per hectare per year, in comparing with the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium ingredients. And you can see that after a 16 year of application, concomitant application, long-term application of sewage sludge, you can see here that the increasing doses should reduce the growth of this green pea. So we can consider also these aspects, and the figure below showing that in case of sewage sludge, it is a communal sewage sludge and industrial sewage sludge, where zinc and chromium is accumulating in the soil with the amount, with the doses. You can see that mycorrhiza fungi composition is reduced, and the potential food safety important and food quality and safety important microbes, Enterobacter, Salmonella, other food safety important microbial parameters are increasing, and especially in the acidic soil, where the soil acidity has also a main effect on the soil quality. So we should consider sometimes several parameters in one. First, we can add additives, organic materials to improve the soil fertility and the soil quality. and the food production. Otherwise, we can check the accumulating toxic elements, heavy metals, and we can stop when it is making irreversible negative changes in our soil environment. And in our mission, we also focused for the food safety important aspects in the soil. These all should be considered sometimes. Parameters, how to check the soil quality. There are several examinations regarding this, and now in our university we try to treat it for farmers, increasing the farmers' knowledge with simple methodology like this soil test, aggregate stability test, where you can see that a researcher from the USA was invited to our university, and he checked the no-till organic soil management of soils and the conventional tillage practices. And you can see here that stable structure can be found when the management changed to a biological, ecological way of thinking, and the intensive agricultural practices reduce the soil structure, and therefore the desertification and the degradation of soil is improved. So we should change our soil management as well. What about the forest soils? I like forest soils because we in the university are involved in an ILTER project. ILTER means International Long-Term Ecological Research. In Hungary, it started in 1972. It is more than 50 years old, a long-term field experiment. And later there was a dirt project, detritus removed, and added experiment where we can test the effect of different organic materials. And this ILTER project involved several sites, regulated sites from the world. There is a European capacity also to check this network, and there was also a supported projects for that. And now there is another phases of this project support, and the first meeting will be next year about the results. So I think we should use those international backgrounds. By the forest international background, they are showing us the importance of the climate change, or not importance, the changes of climate and how we can treat it, how the soil change during this capacity, the temperature, what about the soil organic matter, how they protect the soil quality. And you can see here that when we consider those sites shown here in green, and if we can check the Balkanian countries, there are some overlap, but still we can have some potential to join of this network, and they want to reach more than 500 sites and more than 50 larger long-term socio-ecological research. Why it is important to show the socio-ecological research? In Europe and even the Balkanian countries can have different religions, different environmental conditions, different management practices, different society in the countries. So it is versatile background, and we should learn how it works among the different countries, different regions, different management, and what can have an effect in the society, which is very important because we people live there and we want to learn from the nature how we can improve our life capacity. And this is the Hungarian site. In Europe, there is only this one site, the DIRT experiment, which means that detritus input and removal experiment. In this experimental site, which is about 20 years old now, we can check the effect of litter composition, if we are giving double litter amount or simple litter, or we are we are not allow the root capacity to learn, or we reduce the water content in the soil. So we learn how this climate change effect and this organic matter, different organic matter content affect on the soil quality. And it is very interesting to learn during this 15 years of experiment that when we add more organic matter into the soil, so double litter amount than it is usual, then it has less negative changes. It can has less effect on the soil quality than the opposite when we remove the organic matter content from the soil. In bare soil, where no organic matter input, furthermore, it may be very sensitive to temperature, to water loss, to any environmental changes, and even the diversity loss happens. So we should consider this soil capacity as a valuable tool and save it for the next future and for future people to live safely. So this long-term experiment are very important model experiment to learn how it will happen in our society and in our life. There were several projects. So we realized during this work as expertise that we try to develop these parameters that are important for soil health, but in parallel there were several projects which also learn and was focusing for different aspects. For instance, the Circasa project was focused for the carbon release in the soil, or this EGP soil was tried to harmonize the different methodology. Mission Support was doing the same to develop capacity of different countries and regions, how to measure the soil quality parameters. And now this nations project is focusing for this living lab system, living lab, where this broad society can be involved, even the decision partners can see the results. And I was also an expert in Best for Soil project, where we suggested for farmers some beneficial technology in the horticultural practice, how to reduce these pesticides input into the soil plant system. So I think that we learned a lot during this mission. I appreciate the mission because something new and the way of thinking was focused for the soil capacity and the soil importance. We try to develop innovative aspects what is not known yet, what was supported by the EU, and what we should learn still. For instance, the other soil capacity like forest soils or other soils which were not considered. There was a multifactorial ecological way of thinking, so much parameters was checked in different parallel projects. And I appreciate this long-term monitoring, because we should learn the tendency with the environmental situation in the soils, and the tendency in management, how it will learn, how it will change in a long-term level. We consider the food aspects, which is very important for the human well-being. And you should know that this media, the knowledge, the literacy of soil knowledge is also was involved. So I appreciate this progress, and I would like to say a thank for you for this attention. And I think we should find symbiont partners. What is symbiosis? Probably you know, as a soil scientist, I know symbiosis is a beneficial interrelation with two partners, like the plant and the soil microorganisms. And this symbiosis can have very good effect of reducing the fertilizers and the pesticides, and it works for the plant without soil disturbance or without the human activity, which can be developed in forest ecosystems like the mycorrhiza symbiosis. The forest ecosystem is never use any artificial fertilizers or pesticides, is less as well, and still has a large amount of biomass production. So it is great to learn for people that this is the model for the human activity. And I would like to mention that I am ready to do my best, also involving in our university background, and also as an SMA company who are creating real efficient soil monitoring aspects in case of soil health, which is not really the same as soil fertility, or the advisory system is involved with soil biological parameters. I consider it very important because I am the head of the soil biological session in the Hungarian Soil Science Society. So we are making great effort to involve soil biology, soil life aspects into our life and food safety aspects. So I am enthusiastic about it. So thank you for inviting me for this presentation. Okay.
Thank you very much, Borbala, for this very nice presentation. And everybody that has some questions, please, you can also put it in the chat, but afterwards we will have a discussion, and she will be here with us, so you can ask directly if you have something on your mind related to this
at any time.
topic.
So my email is very simple, so I can answer during a preparation of the project or something like that. If they are hesitating about it, we should learn the previous knowledge and build our next knowledge regarding this model background or something like that. And the situation with partnership, which is very important to find the real functioning partnership. And this is a way now how we can think together. Thank you.
Of course, and great that you mentioned also the partnership. I would just like to remind everybody that Gabriele, our colleague that is behind the scenes, he put it in a chat, so you can see there is a matchmaking platform for the Participant Nations, so you can go there and check it out, and you can showcase your expertise. Also, you can find your partners there, so we can all go to the same point of it. And also you can see in the chat that we have a couple of national engagement events still ongoing. We had a lot of them already. You can check that out, and also you can register for the upcoming ones. You can also see the links in the chat. And now I would like to present our next speaker. That's Tamara Popovic from Serbia, from Biases Institute, and she will be say a little bit about herself and also about the great things that she is doing as a PhD student. Thank you, Gabriele.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tamara Popovic, and I'm a junior research assistant at Bioscience Institute, as well as first-year PhD student. Today, I'm excited to talk to you about Soil Guards project. I will share my perspective on the project as both as a PhD student and an active participant. Firstly, I will provide a brief introduction to the project, then I will dive into my personal experiences as a participant. Also, I will discuss the experiments I have conducted so far. So, Soil Health Guard project is a citizen science project focused on soil and soil health. The main aims of this project are monitoring soil health indicators by engaging farmers and youth in Serbia to track soil health indicators. This involves them in the scientific process and helps gather valuable data, public engagement, and education by involving citizens in scientific research to raise awareness and understanding of soil health and sustainable agriculture. This ensures that the importance of soil health reaches a broader audience, and also data-driven decision making by utilizing data provided by citizens for informed decision making. This was a quick introduction to the project, and now I will speak about my experiences as a project participant. Please, next slide. Thank you. I first found out about Soil Guards project through their Instagram profile. They posted some interesting information about soil, which caught my attention. Curious to learn more, I discovered that it is a citizen science project. Intrigued by the concept, I did some further research and quickly found their other social media profiles as well as their website, but Instagram remained my main source of information. It was on Instagram that I found out about an upcoming workshop. Excited about the opportunity, I decided to apply. Next slide. The application process for the Soil Guards project workshop was very simple. I had to follow a few easy steps. First, I visited their website. Then I filled in my information, including my name, phone number, and email address. And after completing the form, I clicked the send application button. Shortly after, I received a confirmation mail. The mail contained all the relevant information about the workshop, including the location, time, and other details. So the first workshop held in April this year was an exceptionally educational experience. During this workshop, researchers from Soil Guards team delivered a series of comprehensive presentations. They covered a wide range of topics, including the fundamentals of soil, the various aspects of soil health, and an in-depth analysis of the current state of the soil in Serbia. One of the key highlights was the detailed explanation of the different methods we would be using in our research. The researchers described each method and provided the scientific rationale behind their choices. This not only helped us understand the procedures, but also emphasized the importance of each method in achieving accurate results. To further enhance our understanding, the researchers conducted practical demonstrations of all the methods. A particularly memorable part of this workshop was interaction between the researchers and the farmers. This segment was filled with numerous interesting questions from farmers, which researchers addressed thoughtfully. Additionally, the farmers shared their personal experiences with soil management, leading to an inspiring exchange of ideas and best practices. At the conclusion of the workshop, all participants were provided with necessary materials for conducting the experiment. This included various tools and resources, as well as comprehensive instruction manual that outlined the steps and protocols to follow. This ensured that we will be well prepared to begin with our research with confidence. So in the workshop, researchers provided us with detailed information about the various analyses we would be conducting as part of the Soil Guards project. These analyses include several key tests and measurements, each crucial for understanding different aspects of the soil. First experiment is soil organic matter. This experiment helps us determine the amount of decomposed organic matter present in soil. Understanding the organic matter content is vital because it influences soil fertility, water retention, and overall soil structure. Next experiment is soil pH and nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium content. Next is soil structure and texture, and the last one is soil bulk density. Each of these analyses was clearly described and demonstrated during the workshop. The researchers explained what kind of information we would obtain from each method and how this data would contribute to our overall understanding of soil health. For experiments, we were provided with all the necessary materials and tools required to carry out the analysis. This included various items such as tea bags, cotton cloths, and other essential equipment. Each of these materials and tools was thoughtfully packed in labeled plastic bags. The labeling was done to ensure ease of use, so participants wouldn't get confused about which tools to use for which analysis. For example, the tea bags are used for a specific analysis method that involves measuring soil decomposition rates. The cotton cloth is another crucial method used in soil organic matter analysis. Additionally, there were instruments and reagents provided, each clearly labeled and explained during the workshop. This careful organization and labeling of materials not only facilitated the smooth execution of our experiments, but also ensured that we could conduct each analysis accurately and efficiently. Next slide. In addition to the materials and tools provided, participants were also given printed instruction manuals. These manuals are comprehensive, detailing each method step by step. They offer clear instructions on how to carry out the analysis and provide detailed explanations of why these analyses are important. The step-by-step approach ensures that all participants, regardless of their prior experience, can perform the analysis accurately. Furthermore, for those who attended the workshop online and missed in-person demonstrations, there is a dedicated YouTube channel. This channel hosts video tutorials that cover all the methods demonstrated during the workshop. These videos are excellent resource for anyone who needs more detailed visual instructions or wants to revisit the demonstrations. The combination of printed manuals and video tutorials ensures that all participants have access to the information they need in a format that suits them the best, whether they prefer reading detailed instructions or watching step-by-step tutorials. These resources are designed to support them in conducting these experiments. Lastly, I wanted to highlight the ongoing communication between the participants and the research team. We stay constantly in touch through our Viber community. This platform is essential for all updates, notification, and reminders about the experiments. The Viber community serves multiple purposes. It's used to keep us informed about any changes or important informations regarding the project. Additionally, it provides a space for participants to ask questions and discuss any challenges they might be facing during the experiments. Moreover, the Viber community facilitates the sharing of experiences among participants. It had become a vibrant space where we exchange our insights and observations about the experiments we are conducting in our fields. This peer-to-peer interaction is incredibly valuable as it allows us to learn from each other's experiences and improve our understanding of the soil health. The research team is always responsive and supportive, making this communication channel an integral part of this project. It ensures that we are well guided and feel connected throughout the entire process. Next slide. In this slide, I will share the details of the experiment I conducted in my field in Serbia, specifically in a cornfield. This experiment was carried out in the middle of the June and is the first of 4 experiments. It focuses on soil organic matter and microbial activity, utilizing 3 different methods to estimate these parameters. The first method involves tea bags. I use 2 types of tea bags, green tea and red tea. I buried these tea bags in 6 different holes across the field, and of course label their locations so I can find them later. These tea bags will remain buried for 2 months before I dig them out to analyze the decomposition rate, which gives an indication of soil microbial activity. The second method involves using cotton cloth. The procedure is similar to the tea bag method. I buried a piece of cotton cloth at one location in the field and again labeled the spot where it was buried. After 3 months, I will retrieve the cloth to assess the extent of decomposition. The third method is my personal favorite method, is an experiment involving earthworms. For this method, I sampled soil from 3 different locations within my field and searched for the earthworms. I counted and measured all of the earthworms I found. The results were immediate and quite telling. In areas where the organic matter content was lower, I found a few earthworms. Conversely, in areas with higher organic matter content, there were significantly more earthworms, not just in the topsoil, but also in deeper layers. This experiment allowed me to observe how organic matter influences earthworm population, which in turn reflects the soil health. Next slide. So, as a PhD student participating in this project, I have gained substantial knowledge about citizen science and various methods for sampling and analyzing soil. These methods are designed to be accessible to those not formally involved in science. I believe the Soil Guard project significantly promotes sustainable agriculture by engaging farmers and youth in Serbia. It fosters collaboration between citizens and researchers, creating a bridge for knowledge transfer and practical application. the hands-on experiments, workshop, and continuous support from the research team to the wider community have greatly enhanced our understanding of the soil health. This support system has been invaluable in ensuring that we are well guided and can confidently conduct our experiments. I'm very excited to continue this adventure and witness the positive changes in our community, environment, and especially in soil health. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Tamara. And last but not least, for today's speakers, I will introduce you Mirabella Marin. She is coming from National Institute of Research and Development in Forestry from Romania. Mirabella, please go ahead and share your experience. And also I want to remind all the attendees, if you have any questions or anything, you can also write in the chat, but our researchers and PhD students will be staying here to answer to your questions after Mirabella finishes her presentation. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Maybe just a little bit higher by the volume.
Okay, it's better now.
It's better, but maybe you can just put the volume up if it's possible.
I put it, but I don't
okay.
know, it
Then
doesn't
maybe
work.
just
I have some connection issues, so maybe this is why it doesn't work everything as we expected.
Yeah, it's fine. I think everybody can hear you. Thank you, Mirabella.
So, thank you for your invitation. Hello, everyone. I'm Mirabella Marin, a young researcher at the National Institute of Research and Development in Forestry. I'm working at the Watershed Management Department, and my presentation is related to the sustainable forest soil approaches. Next slide, please. So the historical transformation of our institute started more than 100 years ago, when the necessity of research in the forest domain was signaled by the Professor Marin Drăcea in 1918. In 1933 was created the Forest Research and Experimentation Institute, while in 1974 the institute was renamed in the Forest Research and Management Institute, and the silviculture scientific research activities was organized in research sections, laboratory stations, and experimental points. 15 years later, the institute was encompassed in the Autonomous Forest State Administration, keeping its experimental silvicultural districts until 2015, when the National Forest Administration has disposed of the institute from their management and ICAS became INCDS Marin Drăcea. Next slide, please. The INCDS enterprises research, development, and experimentation production activities in the headquarters and its 9 regional stations, most of them accomplishing integrated activities. The institute has an optimal organizational and functional structure, both at a central and regional level, achieved based on their inter- and transdisciplinarity principle, as well as regarding the research and development direction and the strategic objectives. Next. The field of expertise encompasses both research and development in other natural science and engineering, as well as forestry and other forestry activities. The advancement of research and development activities particularly contribute to strengthening and fostering excellence, to smart specialization in scientific research, technological development and innovation in the priority smart specialization domain and subdomain, where the specific objective include supporting the promotion of excellence and technological transfer, but also focusing on the efforts on the development of the digitization component and activities in areas of public relevance. Next, please. Concerning the institute structure, we are under the coordination of Ministry of Research, Innovation and Digitization and the Academy of Agricultural and Forestry Science. The scientific research, technological development and experimental forest patrimony of our institute contributes to achieving towards priority objective of the forest sector. Next, please. At the national and international level, INCDS is a full member or cooperate with prestigious entities like UFRO, ICP Forest, GRC, Alter Europe, and so on. The main research activities developed are specific to a large number of national and international projects for multiple domains like dendrometrics, forest ecology, genetics, game management, silvotechnic and ecological reconstruction, but also forest protection and geomatics. The technological development approaches photogrammetry and digital cartography activities, as well as the elaboration of forest management plans. Furthermore, since 2008, through the National Forest Inventory, was started an activity for the assessment and analysis of medium and long-term forest resource dynamics, while the experimental and production sections technically coordinates the activities developed within the experimental basis of the institute. The INCDS forest patrimony are through live laboratories, materialized, designed and described in the catalog of the experimental surfaces. As I already mentioned, INCDS is a member of ICP Forest and Alter Europe. There are 12 level 2 standard and core plots installed all over the country for evaluating and research and monitoring of forest ecosystem and their biodiversity under climate change and other biotic and abiotic stress factors. The research infrastructure is built under a continuous process of updating in order to consolidate the potential of forest-based research, development and innovation. INCDS has accredited and partially accredited laboratories equipped with high-performance equipments specific to the main research area of the institute. Here we present a laboratory for the analysis of forest seeds. And also we have forest soil analysis laboratories, tree nutrition laboratories, laboratories for analysis of pollutants and deposits and air quality. These laboratories plays an important role for assessing the genetic diversity of forest species, identify new genetics resources, continuous improvement of the forest management plans elaboration, the improvement of a quality-specific method of forestry and assessment of forest resource on large areas. The forest soils are very important, mainly because they contribute to the formation of forest humus. Soil structure and porosity contain a specific microflora and microfauna and has balanced the content of nutrients, but they also provide important ecosystem services. The most widespread forest soils are Cambi soils and Nuvi soils, which occupies between 25 and almost 50% of the area occupied by all forest type in Romania. Within these soils, the erosion process shows lower value, mainly within mature, consistent, and healthy ecosystems, where the erosion degree can be lower than the 1 cubic meter per hectares. Some pictures made 15 years apart, where the degraded lands were afforested. A same example is provided in the next slide, where you can see also how their land were afforested. Two of the most important research projects conducted were CLISWELL and the Crest for Life. The CLISWELL project ended in 2021, was funded by ERA for Climate Services and aimed to improve the existing portfolio of climate services based on the Nexus concept, where the most important local resources like water, energy, and land were assessed under 2 climate change scenarios, RCP 4.5 and RCP 8.5, coupled with societal and land use and management scenarios. The research infrastructure installed during this project was campus scientific weather stations, but also installed rain gauge, data loggers, and we also use a soil infiltrometer. This provides real-time data on precipitation and air temperature, solar radiation, soil moisture, wind speed and direction, snow depth, and water absorption capacity of the soil. Within this project, we also developed a soil erosion risk map in order to evaluate how the soil loss is projected for a studied watershed. For land use and forest management scenario, we developed a matrix designed to couple 3 forest management scenarios and 3 land use scenarios. In the end, resulted 9 land use management scenarios. So in the left image, we have the results obtained for the current situations, and in the scenarios, and the right image, we present the results projected for the extended pasture scenarios. The second project, the Crest for Life, was a 5-year project that aimed to simulate the growth of knowledge and technology transfer between research and development organization in forestry and economic units in the forestry sector, and their access to funding in research, development, and innovation by encouraging private investment and partnership in research. The most important research output were disseminated in 2 papers. First, pursued to determine the relationship between 4 tree species, Norway spruce, silver fir, European beech, and sycamore, based on orographic and edaphic factors to obtain the favorability of the species. So within this project were installed 20 long-term experimental plots. Next, please. The orographic and edaphic factors were evaluated for each tree species. The conclusion was that Norway spruce has the highest favorability, followed by the common beech, even though silver fir has lower favorability than Norway spruce. All plots have fir and Norway spruce in their composition. Also, it can be observed that higher favorability, as in the case of sycamore, does not necessarily determine its presence in a more area. On the contrary, sycamore appears only in a very low number of plots. The second paper aimed to assess the physical and chemical properties of the soil of urban and peri-urban forest, and to define which soil property is more significant for these two types of forest. Out of 20 experimental plots installed, 5 of them were located in the urban forest and 15 in the peri-urban forest. The results reveal that soils from urban and peri-urban forest are different from chemical and physical properties like soil reactions, sand and clay content, or soil richness. While considering the relief characteristics, the urban and peri-urban forest are similar in terms of slope, but different in terms of altitude. So this is all from my side. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mirabella, and thank you once again, Tamara and Barbara, for this very nice presentations. I will give now floor to Terez and Loredana if they want to say something, or maybe to engage some of you, because this part of our webinar will be dedicated for some interaction or discussion or anything that you want to bring out. Please, we have our scientists here, so you can ask your questions. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank for everyone for listening us and joining us today. And I've just went through the chat, and I have not seen actual questions, actually, just a couple of introductions. So maybe in case you feel like those of you who put your introduction into the chat, you can, let's say, introduce personally as well, in case you wish. It was like Ifer Yilmaz, in case I check it well, and Katja Strmez. Sorry, I can't introduce, can't spell it well. So in case you would like to, let's say, introduce yourself, say loudly, that you are welcome. I haven't seen any actual question regarding to the lectures, just questioning and thanking for the presenters. Okay, there is one actual question that regarding forests, what are the problems with the soils there, and what would be a potential solution? So maybe that's a question for Mirabella. Mirabella, in case you are ready to answer that.
I'm here. Actually, maybe the. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'm not quite sure regarding the problems that our soils here are facing, because it's not quite my expertise. But if you check that papers and the project that I presented, maybe there you can find more the details about this issue. So.
Can I add some?
Yeah, definitely, Barbara, thank you.
We have this long-term experiment, this dirt experiment, where the forest ecosystems are considered is more than 50 years now. So regarding the forest sites, this drought condition may result to reduction of litter composition, the litter content, which reduce this capacity to grow their biomass, and there is a loss of different trees regarding their sensitivity to this drought and climate change. And I think this in Hungary we had more than 15% of forest ecosystems, and this was the general capacity of the country. But now all the forest sites are going above in the north sites, and the forest sites are reduced due to this climate change problem. This is the first one. The second one, the forest sites can show directly their capacity to the biomass production, what is important in the soil, and how they can treat this climate change and the water, importance of water in the soil plant ecosystems, how we should, first of all, how we should keep the water in the soil, what need for that. So without biomass production, the water capacity, water storing capacity of the soil is largely reduced. This is what's shown. And the second is to keep their forest in the climate change processes, so reduce the climate change processes. So there are several relations in soil quality parameters of the forest sites, and especially on a long-term level, where we can check different parameters, how they act globally for our environment. So it is very important to have sites, forest sites, even if it is agricultural soils or other urban soils. We can add some background forest sites to compare the main effects on the soils and what is important to change in our life. So therefore, I appreciate this meeting now, because we showed, or the presenter showed, the importance and how it is measurable, the soil functioning in our sites, in different sites. And therefore I showed this background, that this is the ILTER background which can be improved even in the Europe.
Thank you very much, Barbara, for this detailed explanation. And what I'd like to call your attention is also the fact sheets. I think Gabriela put the link into the chat box, that the Nations Project also published some fact sheets, and in the fact sheets you also find some, let's say, practical and concrete information on the problems. And in the meantime, in the chat box, IFER also mentioned the forest fires, which is a usual problem, obviously, in the Mediterranean region. Unfortunately, not that much, let's say, in the Carpathian Basin and yet so up to the north. So it's basically a Mediterranean one. And finally, I see a hand. So IFER, please, you can go on.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, no, we hear you.
Can you, hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, definitely we can hear you. So go ahead.
Super. Sorry, let me just open my camera as well. It will be. Hello from Antalya. We are located in the south of Turkey. And, sorry. We are suffering a lot of forest fires, unfortunately, like many other Mediterranean countries. For example, we are still in June, not June there yet. Today is the 1st of July, but it was a very extreme hot in June. So unfortunately, many forest fires. This is very important in our country, and of course it affects the soil, and it has a direct relationship with the climate change. And unfortunately, there is another big problem in our country, I haven't got much idea about yours, but for example, yesterday I have just seen a piece of news about deforestation. Unfortunately, a big forest area in 4 cities of Turkey was decided to be deforested, and I don't know about their plan, but perhaps construction or other things. It is very upset. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much. For your contribution, and indeed, it's bigger and bigger problem. But fortunately, there are good signs as well, as Mirabella showed us that there are not only deforestation is going on, but afforestation as well.
Yeah.
For some degraded sites. So that would be basically the point for us, just to focus on the things which can be, let's say, make better. So let's hope we can work on that. I actually, at the moment, do not see any other hands or any other questions in the chat box. But please feel free to raise your hand or write your question in the chat box. And in the meantime, although Vladislava, I think, mentioned in the beginning that this will be video recorded, or it's video recorded actually, and it can be seen later on the nation's website. So whenever you feel like watching again this webinar, then you can go to the nation's website and you can see again. And in the chat, you will see the information we raised there. So any other question, comment for the speakers, or in general for the nation's projects, maybe? I don't see anything, so maybe, I mean, in case there is no question, I don't know, Vladislava, should we wait for, or should we close the event?
Maybe we should give the attendees chance if they have anything else to share with us, or some other questions. Maybe a minute, and then to see if no further questions, then we can conclude the webinar. But anyways, we already have 2 webinars on our website, and we will have also this one, and in the presentations, and also afterwards you will have an email, so you can ask the questions later on if you don't feel like you want to do it now. So I don't know, Terez, if you want, I mean, I will give you the floor to close the webinar if you want. And once again, I really want to thank Barbara, Tamara, and Mirabella for these presentations. I think it's very nice, and I will now give floor to Terez.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vladislava, and really I would like to thanks for all the participants for being with us today, and for distinguished speakers for the nice presentations, and I think they are very useful actually also for starting the project as well. And Gabriela also put it into the chat box, very useful links. Actually, the one, for example, going step by step how to build up a project. And please feel free also to connect with those ones you see here as participants, and using the nation's, let's say, partner finding options, that's a very useful one, and I think it's much better and more efficient than the one with the funding and tenders portal, because it's very general there. And here in the nation's website, that's very specific to this Living Lab voice. So thank you very much once more.
Teres, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Veselin, I think, had a question because I just let him. So maybe before we conclude, maybe he has some questions for our researchers and doctors in this field.
Yeah, definitely.
Hello, do you hear me well?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. We are from Bulgaria. We recently had an event about gathering people, maybe to make a living lab or join one. And thank you so much for the information. It's a very important topic, and we're working since many years on those problems. We work mostly with farmers to find solutions about the solve problems, but we don't have any kind of people to join and to collaborate with abroad Bulgaria in terms of projects. So we're going to be very happy to join other consortiums or to find people that wants to work with people from Bulgaria. We are very open. We're going to write emails to other partners, but other partners also can look about us, because we're very passionate about soils and mostly about solutions, how we actually can figure out solutions, how to, solve all of the problems. Already all of them. So yeah, we want to just chime in and say that we are passionate about it and want to collaborate and make experiments. And yeah, thank you so much for this that you work on. That's good.
Yeah, thank you very much for your comment. And actually, I really suggest you to register on this matchmaking site of the nations. That's a very useful one. And then you can find partners immediately, actually. And there are also some online and offline events as well for matchmaking. So you can use that opportunities as well. And what is very important based on the last year's proposals or project proposals is that you should be very concrete with your project. So you really should pick up out of the 8 objectives of the soil mission. You should really focus on 1 or 2 to be very concrete with your project. So just that would be my advice. And really feel free to connect us. And what you can connect as well, the national mentors or this mentor network of the nation project. So they are very useful as well in helping you to build up your project.
Thank you.
Great.
So at the moment, I don't see any other question, but maybe we can wait a few moments just to, no, I don't see anyone.
No, I don't also see more questions, but anyways, as Teres already said, you can find a lot of useful information on the nation's website and also on the other projects on the soil mission. So please go ahead and check it there. And also, Teres, if you want, because I interrupted you, I saw that Veselin had his hand raised. You can now conclude the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Vladislava, and thank you really for everyone. And please feel free to contact the Nations Project, and not only the Nations Projects, but actually the Soil Project as well, which will be the, let's say, successor of the Nations in supporting the Living Labs in the future. So thank you. It was nice being with you for this 1.5 hours, and thank you very much for everyone. And wish to see us once more, then let's go to the Nation's website and see the recordings.